From gaming behemoths in the world of urban combat and RPGs in hell itself, to incredible expansions and brand new shooters and brawlers, June really has everything you could want coming your way. We're going to round up all of the biggest new releases and updates on their way in June, but first we should probably point out a little shindig that Xbox are hosting.
That is absolutely right, Bex, and you know what? It is basically Xbox Fan Christmas because the biggest day of the year is not far away at all. Because on Sunday, June 11th, we have the double feature of the 2023 Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct. It kicks off at 6 PM UK time, and the event will show off some of the most amazing titles that are on their way, from brand new reveals to even closer looks at big titles that we already know about. Speaking of which, Starfield is a game of such galactic proportions that it's getting its whole show to itself, which starts right after Xbox Game Showcase. Oh, and by the way, make sure to check back 2 days later for the Xbox Showcase Extended, which will give gamers an even more in-depth look at some of the games on show. Now, I know what you're thinking, where do I watch it? Well, you can watch it on YouTube, Twitch or Facebook, and of course we'll be covering it all here on Xbox On, so make sure you subscribe and ring that bell for all the latest Xbox news.
On June 1st, lovable loser Zane of Hypnospace Outlaw fame will be channeling his passion for rap metal and ultra-violence into a retro shooter called Slayers X. The idea here is that Zane and his buddies started making this game when they were teenagers and have returned later in life to finish it off. And as a game made by teenage boys, it is every bit as full of gratuitous bloodshed and lowbrow humor as you can imagine. Like a Beavis and Butthead episode with an unusually high body count. But there's some heart here too, as you'll get to learn more about the person Zane has become all these years later.
Making its glorious return on June 2nd is the Street Fighter franchise. The 6th entry into this legendary arcade fighting series will be harnessing the power of the Xbox Series X and S to deliver a truly next-gen experience, with a sort of inky art style that makes every attack lay down an extra bit of visual panache, which is lovely. And look, while we all love the one-on-one bouts that Street Fighter is known for, the 6th game will also feature a new solo mode called World Tour, which basically lets you stretch your legs and go for a wander and, you know, pummel your way through an army of AI enemies as you go. And if you want to get some sparring practice in now, there's actually a demo that's free and available right now, so go check it out.
Also rolling in on the 2nd, we've got We Love Katamari Reroll. If you've never heard of the world of We Love Katamari, strap in because it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. A remake of the second game in this quirky series, it once again has you playing as the Prince of the Cosmos as he runs around rolling stuff up into one big Katamari. As your ball gets bigger, you'll be able to absorb larger and larger objects into it until you've gone from scooping up paper clips to grabbing entire buildings. It's both incredibly straightforward and exceptionally weird, and it makes for a bizarrely satisfying game that now comes with lush new visuals that make the kaleidoscope world of Katamari even more enticing than before.
Elder Scrolls Online players will be able to wield some Doctor Strange-esque new powers thanks to the latest expansion, Necrom, which arrives on PC on the 5th and then hits Xbox consoles on the 20th. Necrom will add a dark new chapter to the story, taking players to the eerie Telvanni Peninsula, where there's all sorts of forbidden knowledge to be found. And they do say that it's too dangerous for mere mortals to comprehend, but I reckon you'll be fine, alright? What you will be able to comprehend though is the fact that there's loads of new quests, 2 new companion characters, and a whole new Arcanist class full of dazzling attacks, buffs, and a whole new power system called Crux. Necrom is going to be massive and a must-play for any fans of the Elder Scrolls universe. And remember, if you're yet to dive into the online world of Elder Scrolls, the base game is available on Xbox Game Pass right now, so you can check it out, see if you like it.
Horror fans will be delighted to find the full Amnesia collection available already on Xbox and PC Game Pass. And it will be getting an equally terrifying edition when The Bunker arrives day 1 on the 6th. Prepare to have your nerves tested all over again as you descend down into a First World War bunker. In this dark, claustrophobic, semi-open environment, you'll be constantly working against the clock as you solve puzzles, search for clues, and try to stay one step ahead of the nightmarish thing lurking in the shadows. With its physics-based gameplay, the bunker responds to every choice you make, meaning that every situation can be solved in a variety of different ways. Although it also means that you can meet your end in all sorts of different ways too, and none of them are pretty.
On the 6th comes a game we'd gladly walk to hell and back for, and it's a new game from the return of the hellish god of action RPGs, and that is none other than Diablo 4. The latest installment in the series will see players building their very own hero, complete with their own set of fantastical skills. You've got all the staples here you'd expect. You've got heavy-hitting barbarians to crafty sorcerers, so everyone will be able to craft a character to suit them. And you won't be short on inspiration either, because Diablo 4 takes place in a shared world, which allows you to see what other players are rocking and even team up with them to take on some of the game's most terrifying bosses. Throw in some diabolically good-looking 4K graphics on the Xbox Series X, and this one has Game of the Year contender written all over it. Bex actually spoke to the developers recently too, in case you want to know more, so feel free to give that video in the top right a click for a hell of an insight. Anyway, enough hell puns, I promise. We've got an alien invasion to interrupt.
Xbox Series X and S players will have a chance to find out what's really out there on the 9th thanks to a certain Grey Hill incident, which is also the name of this first-person alien horror. Set in the early 90s, this is a story-driven survival horror game taking place in a rural American town where aliens have invaded. As one of the locals, you know you can't rely on the government to protect you from the little grey men, so you'll just have to rely on your baseball bat and your revolver and whatever else you can find as you sneak, run and fight your way through this first-person adventure. If you want to believe, that is.
For more freaky, frightening fun, check out Layers of Fear coming on the 15th. The Layers of Fear games have already offered a pair of frighteningly immersive psychological horror experiences as players explored crumbling Victorian manors and an eerie ocean liner. But with totally rebuilt visuals featuring HDR and ray tracing, they've achieved a whole new level of nightmarish reality. And not only does this new version bundle together with both original games and all of their DLC, but it adds in some brand new story content designed to tie the two tales together. So in a way, that is kind of horrifying, I'm sure.
Those darn xenomorphs are back on the 20th as Aliens Dark Descent comes skittering into town. In this real-time tactical action game, you'll command a team of highly skilled marines as they try to keep the aliens at bay. Doing so will require some serious cunnings as the enemy will learn from your choice as the battle wages on, becoming more devious the longer you fight them. Oh, and the Dark Descent features permadeath, so there's not a whole lot of room for error here. But there are all sorts of ways to ensure your survival, from creating safe zones to uncovering secret shortcuts to, you know, just blasting the almighty heck out of anything that moves. All good plans.
The baddest Bandicoot in the business comes crashing back to the Xbox on the 20th for Crash Team Rumble, but this time is a little bit different to what you're used to. It's dubbed a strategic platformer by the clever folks behind it, and this online multiplayer game will see teams of 4 competing to collect Wumpa fruits across a diverse range of colourful maps. Each character has a unique skill set, so it'll be worth getting to know the full roster, and you know, you've got Crash himself, Coco, Cortex, Dingo Dial, and more. Crash Team Rumble will be available for both Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S and will feature full cross-platform multiplayer, so you definitely won't be short on teammates.
Finally, a cult classic is coming back from the grave to give us one last haunting. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective is an ingenious story-driven puzzle game from the creators of Ace Attorney, in which you can play as a fellow named Sissel, who is unfortunately dead. To find out who killed him and to prevent a few other people from sharing his fate, players will need to use his unique abilities to possess inanimate objects. He can also hop inside dead bodies to wind back time to 4 minutes before their demise, which, while kind of gross, does prove to be exceptionally helpful. It's a truly unique, offbeat little game with an incredibly sick visual style and a story that's weird, hilarious, and really quite thoughtful. And you'll be able to experience it all in a beautifully remade form from the 30th. No matter what the weather is like, it's looking like one heck of a summer here on Xbox. So be sure to let us know what you're most looking forward to down in the comments before you go. Bye!